Peace, what's good, everybody? Welcome to another episode of my CD collection. Um, that's my homeboy Jermaine right over there. He's a Coogie's friend. I'm just gonna give him like his 5 seconds right there. He's a dope, he's a dope singer, and stay tuned cause he got something in the works. As usual, I'm sorry for the delay. CD collection, handling some money, things of that nature. But I managed to cop some very dope CDs lately. I've been listening to a lot of dope new music lately too. So I'm going to be doing some reviews, and I have a review planned up this week. And I'm gonna give you a hint. This album defines Queensbridge hip hop. That's the hint I'm going to give you. All right. First album I'm about to actually talk about is Led Zeppelin's sixth studio album, Physical Graffiti, released in 1975 on Swan Song Records. Um, yeah, about time I actually got this album. I have Led Zeppelin 1 through 4. I reviewed the first 5 albums. Led Zeppelin 1, Led Zeppelin 2, Led Zeppelin 3, Led Zeppelin 4, and House of the Holy, which I claim House of the Holy was my favorite album from them. If you guys want to know who Led Zeppelin are, just go to any of those videos. All right, now Physical Graffiti single. It came out with two official singles: "Trampled Underfoot" and "Black Country Water." Black Country Woman. But Cashmere, um, that was not really officially a single, but it was like a popular song, and it did have like its share of like radio airplay. So yeah. Now, Physical Graffiti. What can I say about this album that's not already been said before? This is a very classic album. A lot of people have claimed that this is their best album. Stay tuned for a review on this. I don't hate the album. Of course, I don't hate Physical Graffiti, but I I would be lying if I said that this album does not get overpraised or fall victim under the double album syndrome. Stay tuned for a review on this album. And this is actually the 2015 reissue. So, yeah. Next album. This is like one of my favorite hip hop albums of all time. Um, Very distinctive sound, legendary album. If you ask me, it's a legendary album. If you ask me, and this is Kool Keith or Dr. Octagon. If you want to be technical, Dr. Octa, how do you say it? Dr. Octagonologist. Try to say that 8 times fast. Alright, this is Kool Keith's first solo album, fresh out of Ultramagnetic MCs. Very dope hip hop group. Not really a hip hop group I hear people talk about when it comes to like golden age of hip hop. Like they dropped Ultramagnetic MCs. They dropped Critical Beatdown 1988, classic album by many. Very groundbreaking for its time due to like some of the samples they picked. 1992, Funk Your Head Up, album that was not as good as Critical Beatdown, but not as good as Critical Beatdown, but it still has some heat though, and that was like I believe that album was Godfather Don's first appearance on Wax, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. Then 1993, The Four Horsemen, very dope album, probably like the darkest album in their discography. I need to get some of their albums though, but their albums are very hard to come by. Well, it's not like very hard to come by, but from where I stay at, it's hard to come by. So you guys know with Kool Keith, he's always have like a different persona, a different like vibe with his album. That's one thing I love about Kool Keith. He's always reinventing himself with every album. Now, Dr. Octagon, well, the Dr. Octagon album, basically. 1996, More Wax, A&M, Hologram Records. Um, Singles I was known for are Earth People, 3000, Blue Flowers. Blue Flowers is actually the first song I've heard from Kool Keith. I always remember that very trippy beat. I always was, yo. This is probably this album and Black Elvis are my favorite albums from Kool Keith. I mean, I mostly like his early solo stuff, but he's always been like one of those rappers that has always stayed relevant, always stayed true to his form, never really succumbed to the whole commercial buzz. Dope album right here, dark, very dark. I love the concept. I can play this whole album without skipping a track. We have songs like No Awareness, Girl Let Me Touch You, Wild and Crazy, um, Real Raw. This fucking album is just so damn good. I only say that about a lot of albums, but this is the album like that. If you really want to start with like Kool Keith discography, to start with this album and gradually move up to his discography. Oh, and I must mention Dan the Automator is like one of my favorite hip hop producers. Very underrated. I mean, this is good as pick his album up. And I think his album's been reissued a couple of times too. All right, next album. Always for my jazz heads. It's Miles Davis, Sketches of Spain, released in 1960 on, I think it was Columbia. What's the label? Columbia Records. Um, I've talked about Miles Davis a couple of times. I have his Kind of Blue album. I mentioned him a couple of times. I mentioned him, I think when I was talking about John Coltrane's Love Supreme. Dope album, by the way. And don't worry, I will do a jazz review one day. I'm gonna start doing jazz reviews and stuff like that. So this album came 1 year after Kind of Blue, and this is during his cool jazz period. Oh wow, this is a very dope album. I love this album. Um, Apparently a lot of albums in here I love. So this is like the album took me so long to get. So very good album right here. Has some really dope songs like Willow the Wisp. All my Jeru heads should know about that. Pen Piper, Solia, Son of Our Century. Very good album. He actually won a Grammy for this album too for Best Original Jazz Composition. And this is actually claimed as one of his best albums of all time. Must have in your collection if you're a Miles Davis fan. Now this album. Oh, this is Prince with Love Sexy, released in 1988 on Warner Brothers under Paisley Park. Um, do I even need to tell you who Prince is? Well, in case you're watching this channel for the first time, done a review on Dirty Mind, Controversy, 1999, Purple Rain, Sign of the Times, Best Album, Diamonds and Pearls, Love Simba album, and I own his second album, Prince. Need a new review on that. And Parade, Come, the hits and the B-sides, and Gold Experience. This album, singles I was known for are Alphabet Street, Glam Slam, and I Wish You Heaven. This is an album with a lot to discuss, so I'm gonna save what I think about this album during the review. And just to let you know, I have as many. Just gonna let you know, I don't love this album as much as diehard Prince fans love this album. That's all I'm gonna say. Gangstar, Step in the Arena, 1991, Chrysalis under EMI, um, Guru, Primo. What else? What else? I done a review on Daily Operation, Hard to Earn, Moment of Truth, Best Album. Well, any album released, any album that they released could be a contender for their best album. Alright? It's their second solo album. I kind of call this album like them finding their style, Primo finding his style and things of that nature. Singles album is known for it. Came out with a couple singles. Who's Gonna Take the Weight? I love that song. Love Sick and Step in the Arena was a single. Oh, I forgot. Just to Get a Rep. That was also a single. How could I forget that song? Oh my God, this is a dope ass album. This album, this is hip hop at its finest, you know. And I can't believe it took me years to actually cop this album. Very good album. You know, a lot of these songs have been on video games, movies. Um, one of my favorite songs off this album, Executioner for Chump, dope song right there. Must have in your collection. Alright. Then we have Nirvana, Unplugged, live in New York, released in 1994 on DGC Records. I've done a review on Nevermind. I own In Utero, and I don't own Bleach, which is their first album, which is an album I need to get. This album, this is one of my favorite albums. Well, let me talk about the singles. Well, All Apologies, the unplugged version, About a Girl, The Man Who Sold the World, David Bowie cover, um, Where Did You Sleep Last Night, a folk traditional, and Lake of Fire, which was a Meat Puppets cover. You know, this album it kind of came out because of the fact that of course Kurt Cobain he died like a couple, I think a month or two after before this album was released, and so I feel like the public didn't want to hear more of Nirvana, so they put out this album right here. Very very good unplugged episode. Um, oh, a little trivia I forgot before I close out. See, I love the setting they did with the performance. Like you had like little candles, and it kind of like looks like little visuals, things of that nature. And so, mm, hold on, wait a minute. So this was like a very different like take because most of the time, like when people do unplugged around that time, like it would just be like the artist and like a band in the background. They put add like more details from the stage, add like a more darker atmospheric look to it. Also, this was done. The whole performance was done in one take, and so yeah. And I'm gonna like talk more about this album once I review it. So Nirvana Unplugged, 1994, must have in your collection. The final album is Janet Jackson's Velvet Rope, released in 1997 on Virgin. Um, I talked about her Rhythm Nation album and the Janet Period album, and those were the only two albums I have from them from her. Excuse me. This is another one of my friends. His name is Blue. He's also a singer. Say hey, Jamal.
Hey.
What's up? Yeah, they just came, kicking in here, about to work on some music. All right, now Janet Jackson's. All right, Janet Jackson's Velvet Rope. Um, this album, I consider it to be my favorite Janet Jackson album. I know I think I said Period. Janet Period was one of my favorite albums from them, but this album growing on me, and I do love Janet Period. That album flawless. I mean, no pun intended, but yeah. Singles I was known for are "Got Till It's Gone" featuring Q-Tip and Joni Mitchell, "Together Again," "I Get Lonely." Sorry, "Got Till It's Gone," "Together Again," "I Get Lonely," "Go Deep," "You," and "Every Time." Probably her darkest album, her discography, because she was going through like a lot of depression. Um, Around the time the Janet Period album came out, she was going through some depression and things of that nature. So very good album. Like I love this album. Like very, it has like a very house R&B feel to it. But at the same time, like it's like how can I put this? How can I put this? This is like it's a very weird album to like, but it is what it is. And I know a lot of people were kind of bitching about the interludes, but I felt like the interludes very much really tied the whole album together. So very good album. Expect a review on this. Must have. And this is your boy Reg here. Stay tuned for more stuff. Peace.